We all know the real estate market is super hot in 2022, but what if you're one of those brave souls that wants to get into the market and purchase a home? What steps do you need to take? Today we're going to dive into several steps that I think are very important, especially for first-time home buyers, to take in order to prepare themselves adequately for the real estate market. And at the end, I'll give you the number one biggest mistake that home buyers make when getting into the market in 2022. Hey everybody, Jeremy Kane. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you find this video helpful. While you're here, please hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, hit the bell. That keeps you notified for all the things in this very fast real estate market. And I would love to keep in touch with you and be of assistance any way possible in your home buying or selling journey. The real estate market is hot, so we don't have a lot of time. So let's dive in. Step one when purchasing a home is to take a look at your overall living situation. Are you in a lease? When does the lease terminate? And kind of start to develop a time frame for your real estate search. This is huge also because in the competitive market, it's not always right away that we find a home. So it's important to know what your living situation is now, when your lease is up, and possibly some backup options. Can you move in with a friend? Can you go month to month on your lease? Can you move back in with the parents? We all know you don't want to do that, but it's nice to have all these options on the board so that we're more adequately available to understand what is actually going to go into the timeline and make a strategic plan so that we don't have to move back in with those parents. The next step is the hardest step, the financials. Have a lender look at your financials early on in the process. I can't tell you how many times I have had buyers wait to get a credit card paid off or wait for something to, disappear off their credit card statement, something along those lines. But the honest truth is, if you get your information in front of a trusted lender who understands what it's going to take to approve you to buy a home and give you hundreds of thousands of dollars, we might as well do it right away. There's a lot of myths out there about pulling credit and things like that. If your credit is that close to the minimum, I got a secret for you. It's going to be an issue. So let's get it in front of the lender. Maybe they can help boost the credit. So the cost of that soft credit pull early on is definitely worth it. As things come along, they can help you and say, okay, pay this debt, don't pay this debt, and just strategize on building your credit if that's needed. Or, maybe creating credit. Some people come to lenders to buy a house and they've never had a credit card and don't have any credit out there. And those people are also not approvable, just like the people that have a bunch of late payments and things like that. So it's very important to get yourself in front of a lender who can take a look at your financial portfolio and give you advice and help you along the way, and make sure that you're hitting these steps of paying this debt off to a certain extent or whatever that may be. And sometimes people think their credit's terrible and they're in the 800s. So it's always nice to get in front of that financial professional so that they can understand what it's going to take to get you approvable when the time comes. So mixed with that timeline, they can say, okay, we're about 6 months out. You need to take these steps. Let's check in 3 months and go from there. So getting in touch with that financial person is huge. And I know it's a little bit scary. I know some people are a little bit embarrassed, but I will tell you that no matter what your credit looks like, no matter what anything else looks like, having them as an advocate for you to help you through, counsel you through, and give you step-by-step ways to prepare, or even just say, okay, you're ready to go, we're good to go, this is what we need to do, and kind of walk you through the process. It's very important that you have this person on your side so that we can kind of start to dive into what price points you're going to be at, what your monthly payment's going to look like, and so on. So definitely, I know it's the hardest part of the process, and I know sometimes people don't love sharing that information, but if you get with the right lender, they can be a confidant for you, talk you through the process, make sure you're fully aware of what happens on the lending side so that you are furthermore prepared for when we jump into the market and are competing against those multiple offer situations for your dream home. So definitely hit up those lenders ASAP. All right. The next step is saving money. This is very important and obviously seems like a no-brainer when purchasing a home. There are several things that we can do with that extra cash on hand. The first one is save money towards your down payment. Maybe you can get from a 5% down to a 10% down or something along those lines. The next one is appraisal gaps. Appraisal gaps are pretty common in today's fast-moving market. Basically saying, if the appraisal comes in a little low, I'm going to bring some cash to make it up. So the more cash we have on hand to utilize that, if you choose to put that into an offer, we can definitely strengthen your position on the offer totem pole if we do have a little bit of extra money that we can offer for an appraisal gap. The nice thing about an appraisal gap is it's kind of monopoly money if the appraisal comes in where it should. So we take a look at all kinds of things that go into the situation, the amount of offers they have on the table, the comparables in the area, and things that the appraiser might look at for the appraisal to say, okay, well, we might need an appraisal gap if we're going to offer this high. We think the appraisal might come in here, but you never know. All we can do is, put our best foot forward and do what you can, but the ability to have $5,000 to $10,000 or more for that appraisal gap sometimes is the winning clause in that contract. And sometimes you don't even have to use it, because if the appraisal comes in at value, that money basically goes away. Like, you don't have to bring an extra $5,000 or $10,000 to the table. So that's something to consider, but always nice to have. Next, in this market, sellers are being a little bit tight on what they're doing for the inspection. There's always those little things that maybe you can run to Home Depot and pay $100, to get materials and hop on YouTube and fix. So it's always nice to have some money saved up in case there's those inspection items that the seller's not willing to fix. And the final reason to have cash, as I like to have all of my buyers who go into especially their first home, is to have a little bit of a nest egg. You never know when that water heater is going to go out, or that furnace is going to quit working, or you're going to need to replace that gutter or whatever. So having a little nest egg to make sure that you are protecting your investment, keeping up with maintenance items, is very important. So out of those things, I'm sure that saving cash as we go, step by step, month by month, will come in a huge value for you as we move forward in the contract process. All right, now we're at the fun part. Step 4, let's make a wish list. Here's the deal. In this market, there's so much going on that we need to know exactly what are your must-haves. Those must-haves may include, a yard for your dog. If we're in Colorado, we all love our pets, right? Or maybe we need a parking spot or 2 parking spots, or maybe somebody's a mechanic and needs a garage. Or maybe you just want a garage because it snows in Colorado. Absolutely, those things are very important, but we need to make sure we have the absolute must-haves, right? If you want to live on a single level, no house with stairs, things like that. We can't be looking at 3rd floor units or anything like that. So make sure that you have your must-haves, your non-negotiables. It is my goal, hopefully, to find something within your price point that has all of your non-negotiable items included so that we can move forward. The next is a wish list, and I'm going to be honest with you, usually in your first home, it's not going to have everything on your absolute must-haves and everything on your wish list. So the wish list is just kind of nice to haves, and as we go, sometimes there's little things that don't really cost that much more, don't really go into the pricing piece that people wish they had, and sometimes we can find those things. Whereas sometimes huge pantry is not in the cards, and we're just going to have to settle with creativity or something like that, or maybe use a basement or something to store the larger appliances or those big Costco orders and things like that. So having the non-negotiables is very important. Obviously, if you have a kiddo or something like that, you need 2 bedrooms. We can't put a whole family into 1 bedroom. So let's make sure that we know exactly what we need. We absolutely need 2 bedrooms, 3 would be nice. But if we have that list of things that are non-negotiables, we can eliminate a lot of homes right away to not waste a ton of time in our search. And then as we can search, we can kind of start to pick up on, okay, yeah, that would be nice to have. Sometimes the wish list changes as we go. Like, oh, I really thought I needed that covered parking, but I think we're good here, especially when you're downtown. We need a parking spot, we need a reserved parking spot, but we went on the weekend, we went at night one week, and we went midday and there was parking on the street. So maybe parking in that area is not as important to you as, the downtown parking spot once was. So little things like that we can kind of work through to prepare us better for the search is always nice. All right, what is the biggest mistake, you asked, that I teased early on? The biggest mistake that people make when getting into purchasing a home is they, first of all, wait to contact a lender, and they wait to get serious until a month or two before their lease is up. The honest truth is, we have the benefit of time when we're 6 months out or a year out, and we can really plan and make things, work. But if you wait until the very end, everything speeds up. It takes a little bit longer to process your loan. And then we get to a point where we're like, okay, well, we have, my lease is up in 30 days and we need to go under contract, find a house first, win the bid, go under contract, and close within 30 days. Well, in Colorado, the typical contract process, especially when a loan is involved, is 25 to 30 days. So if we're waiting till day 45 or even day 30, that time is really limited. Basically, we have 1 day to find a house if you're 30 days out. So understanding that the process does take time, and especially in this market, in the very competitive price points, it may take six offers in 6 months to get you under contract on a home. So if your lease is up, you don't have a contingency plan, you don't have anywhere to go, then we're in trouble if you have 30 days and we have to find you a house, get you under contract, get you approved for a loan, and move you in. So the biggest mistake that people make is, push it aside. They kind of procrastinate. They don't want to talk to a lender. They don't want to make a plan. They don't want to go get in and look at houses. Let's go get in and look at some houses. Once you've talked to a lender and have a general idea of price point, let's go see what that price point gets. That'll kind of help you with the saving money kind of aspect that we talk about. And then we're able to really make those non-negotiables and zero those in and really find those, want to have things so that we're ready to go. And then sometimes, hey, we go out and see a house and you're like, hey, I really love this one. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at your lease termination agreement. How much is it going to cost you to terminate your lease? Because if we have to wait 6 months to find a house like this, at the rate of, as appreciation's up 20% year over year typically right now, then, is it worth it? Or is it worth it to pay $5,000, get out of your lease and, move into the home now and save money on the raising interest rates and the raising values and things like that? And we can actually do a cost analysis, make sure that, if this is the one and we can get you into it, like maybe it's worth a shot. So definitely something to consider is getting out there, looking, making sure we're fully aware of what's going on and going from there. The market is hot, prices are high, competition is a little bit intimidating, but if we can get all of your information and your situation under control, we can make a plan for you and move forward so that we can dominate the opponents, we understand what's on the playing field, and we can absolutely get you into a home in 2022. We can prove the naysayers wrong, saying, wait, don't wait, there's gonna be a crash, there's this, there's that. The honest truth is, if your time to buy is now, it's the best time ever to start your journey to financial freedom through real estate. So let's talk. Have a good one. Bye-bye.